Why does happiness always seem just out of reach? We chase after it in our careers, in relationships, in money, and yet, when we finally get what we thought we wanted, the joy is fleeting. What if everything we believe about happiness is wrong? This is the question one young man wrestled with, until a chance encounter with a Buddhist monk revealed a secret that changed his life forever. In a bustling city, where everyone was constantly on the move, lived a man named Akio. Like many others, Akio had spent his life chasing happiness. He worked long hours, climbed the corporate ladder, and bought everything he could to fill the emptiness inside. New clothes, a fast car, the latest gadgets. But no matter what he achieved, it seemed like happiness slipped through his fingers, always just a little further away. His friends and family admired him for his success. He had the dream job, a luxurious apartment, and more money than he had ever imagined. Yet in the quiet moments when no one was around to see, Akio felt hollow. He would lie awake at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering why all his accomplishments hadn't brought him the happiness he had hoped for. One afternoon, after a particularly stressful day at work, Akio found himself wandering aimlessly through the streets, his mind heavy with frustration. As he walked, he came across a small park he hadn't noticed before. It was a peaceful spot, a quiet refuge from the chaos of the city. Sitting on a bench beneath a large, shady tree was an old Buddhist monk, dressed in simple robes, his face serene and full of calm. Something about the monk's presence drew Akio in, and without thinking, he sat down next to him. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The monk gazed out at the trees, his hands resting gently in his lap, as if he had all the time in the world. Akio, on the other hand, felt an urge to say something, to fill the silence. "I don't know what I'm doing wrong," Akio finally blurted out, his voice tinged with frustration. "I have everything I thought I wanted, but I'm still not happy." The monk turned to him, his eyes kind but piercing. "What is it that you seek?" he asked softly. "Happiness," Akio replied, his voice heavy with longing. "I thought it would come once I became successful, but now that I've achieved all of this, it still feels like something is missing." The monk nodded slowly, as if he had heard this many times before. "You chase happiness as though it is something to be caught," he said, his voice gentle yet firm. "But have you ever wondered why it seems so elusive?" Akio frowned. "I don't know, I just thought if I kept working hard, if I kept achieving more, happiness would follow." The monk smiled faintly. "Let me tell you a story. Once, there was a young man, much like you, who spent his days chasing happiness. He thought it could be found in wealth, in love, in success, and so he devoted all his time and energy to acquiring these things. He believed that happiness was just around the corner, waiting for him at the end of the next achievement. But no matter what he gained, happiness was always temporary. The thrill of a new accomplishment would fade, leaving him hungry for more, always looking toward the next thing that might finally make him feel whole. One day, exhausted from the constant chase, the young man climbed a mountain to seek the wisdom of a revered Buddhist master who lived in a small, simple hut at the summit. He believed that if anyone could give him the key to happiness, it would be this master. When he reached the top, the master greeted him warmly and invited him to sit. The young man poured out his heart, explaining how he had spent his whole life chasing happiness, but could never seem to hold on to it. The master listened patiently, then asked him, "Why do you chase after happiness, as if it is something to be caught?" The young man was taken aback. "Isn't that the point? If I don't chase it, how will I ever find it?" The master smiled and gestured to the mountain around them. "Look at the clouds that drift over the peaks. Do they chase after the wind? Do the trees strive to grow faster than the others? No, they simply exist, allowing life to unfold naturally." The young man was confused. "But if I don't strive for happiness, how will I ever have it?" The master's smile deepened. "You misunderstand. Happiness is not something you find by running after it. The more you chase it, the more it will evade you. Happiness arises when you stop running and begin to appreciate the present moment. It is found not in the next thing you achieve, but in the awareness of what is here, right now." The young man frowned. "So you're saying I should just stop?" "Yes," the master replied. "Stop chasing. Stop believing that happiness is out there, waiting to be found. True happiness is already within you, but you are too busy running to notice. It is in the stillness, in the moments of presence, in the acceptance of life as it is, rather than how you wish it to be." Akio sat in silence for a long time, digesting the monk's words.
But how can I stop chasing? I've been doing it my whole life. I don't even know how to be still.
The monk turned to him, his eyes full of gentle understanding. Start small, he said. Begin by noticing the present moment. When you eat, truly taste your food. When you walk, feel your feet on the ground. When you breathe, be aware of the air filling your lungs. Happiness is not a destination. It is the journey itself. It is found in the simple act of being fully present. Akio's mind raced. Could it really be that simple? He had spent his entire life believing that happiness was something to be earned, something to be achieved through hard work and success. But now, here was this monk telling him that happiness wasn't out there. It was here, in the present moment, waiting for him to stop and notice it.
Thank you,
Akio said quietly, his heart full of both confusion and hope.
I think I understand.
The monk nodded and smiled. Happiness is not a thing to be chased, my friend. It is the state of being content with what is, rather than what could be. When you stop running after it, you will find that it has been with you all along. Akio left the park that day with a newfound sense of peace. For the first time in years, he didn't feel the urge to rush toward the next goal, the next achievement. Instead, he walked slowly, feeling the ground beneath his feet, listening to the sounds of the city around him, and noticing the simple beauty of the moment. And in that stillness, for the first time, he felt truly happy. Are you still chasing happiness? Or will you stop, breathe, and realize that it's already here?